Joining me now is Luis Rivera Marin. He is the Secretary of State and Lieutenant Governor of Puerto Rico. And as you can see there, he just was spending some time at the White House. And Mr. Lieutenant Governor, thanks for coming on and spending some time with us. Let me just start with what you heard from the president yesterday and whether you could go back to Puerto Rico and say, the president's right. It's an unsung success. There is nobody that could have done a better job cleaning up after Hurricane Maria than the federal government led by President Trump. Could you go back to Puerto Rico and say that is true?
Well, first of all, thank you for having us, Chuck, in your program, and our prayers to our brothers and sisters in the Eastern Seaboard, particularly North and South Carolina. I know the feeling getting ready for the strike of a major hurricane. Certainly, when you talk about Maria, when you talk about what we went through last year and throughout last year, it's the largest event, the most the disaster with the highest monumental effects in recent history. And certainly that took into local government, federal government, and also many thousands of volunteers, a lot of work and facing challenges and hurdles because of all the conditions present in the island. You're talking about we lost all our airports, we lost all our communications, and this happened overnight. So we've been working shoulder to shoulder with the federal government. Today, we had some very productive meetings in what is almost the anniversary where we are commemorating 1 year from Maria. We are making sure that we build decent and we can relocate thousands of families that before Maria were living in conditions that are not adequate. So the response, what I can tell you is that we're working, and we've been working since day one, shoulder to shoulder with federal agencies in making sure that Puerto Rico can move forward and start recovering and start building good jobs for Puerto Ricans.
Look, I understand you've got to work with the administration, and I get that. Let me ask you this. Do you think you would be getting more resources, more help, if you were a state?
Certainly. What the history of Puerto Rico, I've been coming here for years claiming parity and equitable treatment in healthcare funding. In Puerto Rico, we get probably half of the funds that other states get, and we pay the same Medicare taxes. In terms of housing and other federal programs, Puerto Rico, because of its territorial condition, is discriminated. Nevertheless, Puerto Ricans as U.S. citizens, we don't have representation in Congress. We don't vote for the president. Right. So when we come here, we do differently than those brothers and sisters. We have 3.4 million U.S. citizens that have no representation in the island, and that certainly reflects in the resources that we have.
I mean, let's put it, we did the math here today. Based on just population alone, a state of Puerto Rico would be America's 30th largest state. Bigger than Iowa, just under Connecticut, which by my math would give you 4 members of the U.S. House in addition to 2 U.S. senators. Let me ask you this, Lieutenant Governor. The island, in my professional life, the island has always been split into thirds, it seems. A third want statehood, a third want pure independence, and a third would just like to improve the Commonwealth relationship. Well, has Hurricane Maria changed this? Do you think there is now a majority that wants statehood?
What I'll tell you is those thirds are not necessarily proportionate. There are 3 views as to what's the political future of the island: independent statehood or stay as a territory or a colony. On the last plebiscite that was run in the island, 97% of the people of Puerto Rico favored statehood. A few years ago, back in 2012, was 61%. Last year, we had a decision, 2016, I'm sorry, I must correct, the Supreme Court put it out bluntly that we are under the plenary powers of Congress. Thereby, that means that Congress and only Congress dictates what happens in Puerto Rico regarding programs. We don't have that representation. Nevertheless, I must say that the states in all the agreements that we have in place for collaboration have been supporting Puerto Rico. I must say that many members of Congress have helped sensibly to
Right.
take care of the suffering in the island. And certainly the federal agencies and the administration is working on a very bold program to reconstruct a more resilient island where there
Right.
is dignified housing for our people. But our aspirations are to be as equal. At the end, that's what the foundation of this nation is all about, that we are all created equal. That doesn't happen in Puerto Rico.
It's a fair point, Lieutenant Governor. I'm going to have to let you go there. Lieutenant Governor and also serves as the Secretary of State, Luis Rivera Marin. Thank you, sir, for taking some time to talk with us. I appreciate it. Hello, YouTubers. If you're watching this, it means you've checked out our channel, so thank you. Now do me a favor, subscribe by clicking on that button down there. Click on any of the videos to watch the latest interviews and highlights from MTP Daily and MSNBC. You can get more Beat the Press content every morning in the First Read newsletter. If you're tired of content that you don't know anything about where it came from, you don't have to have that problem with us. NBC News, MSNBC, MTP, and the Meet the Press mindset right here for you on YouTube. Subscribe now.